Welcome to another episode of Masked Monologues, the anonymous podcast dedicated to creatives. Each week, I dive into conversations with a diverse array of creatives from various industries to explore their unique processes and stories. If you're enjoying the show and want to support us, please consider leaving a review or sharing it with a friend.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Masked Monologues. Today, I'm excited to have this conversation with Benny from Via Stoica. Would you mind introducing yourself? Tell us a bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, and thank you for having me on. I'm looking forward to this conversation as well. My name is Benny. I'm a co-founder of Via Stoica, where we offer things like life coaching, with public speaking, corporate trainings, workshops. We also have a podcast, a weekly podcast where we talk about Stoicism and how that can improve your life. And we do also have weekly spaces on X where we have live conversation with our community and with people. And this is really an extension of my personal philosophy of life, Stoicism. After meeting some obstacles in life, having to overcome them, I look for something to help me. And Stoicism was the tool that really spoke to me. And I've been applying that for a few years right now to my life. And it really has helped me live a better life and find more clarity and balance, which has given me great direction as well. And I want to share that with other people, not to make them become stoics, but to show that there are ways to live a better life and that there is tools for you to reach and use to define certain things in your life to give yourself a clear path to want to be. So that's what I do. I come from the Netherlands. I'm from a very small village, but I've traveled extensively over the last 14 years. I've lived in Spain and Dubai, and I've just got back from an 8-month trip in South and Middle America. That's who I am and what I do. And Stoicism has really become a grounding factor in my life over the last few years.
From what I know, Stoicism has been popularized in the past couple of years. So you see it in YouTube videos, you see it more in pop culture. And I want to define exactly what Stoicism is because I believe a lot of people have different interpretations of how Stoicism should be applied in their lives. Like you can go from absolute stoic, showing no emotion, to maybe being stoic about your work habits, and you apply it in the sense where you always have to do your work regardless of whether you feel like it or not. So I want to know how you define stoicism and how you help others apply this concept, this mentality to their lives.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way to start. And there's a common saying that you have lower S stoicism, which is that stiff upper lip where you just shun all your emotions, shut them off, and just go at everything like the stoic, right? The way we use that word right now. Then there is like the more academics. They say we've got to talk about everything and use the theory, and that's where it stays. And then there is the more moderate one, which I adhere to, is the practicality of it, right? The pragmatic view of applying these teachings, of looking at the wisdom from these old ancient Stoics who have really managed to delve into the human psyche. Like, for example, CBT, like modern day therapies, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is directly linked and founded from Stoic philosophy. They use those ideas that the Stoics had of like how to deal with emotions, how to use your rational view to decide what is the best action to take, and how to interpret your thoughts and beliefs and how they control your behavior, your feelings. So I think that's where the real crux of Stoicism meets life, because there's philosophy, and sometimes when people think about philosophy, it's like these people sitting somewhere in the ivory tower talking about all of these things. But for me, it is really when it meets life, when you can apply it to what you do on a daily basis, when you have those difficult moments and you can sit with yourself and just realize, okay, this is something that I've got to go through. I've got to evaluate what's happening and then choose the right way to act, right? For me, Stoicism is really a set of guidelines, a set of tools to live a more peaceful life by applying virtue. And the Stoics, they separate those in 4 things: wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, and to live in accordance with your nature. So those are for me the key points. And that living in accordance to nature really requires someone to listen to oneself, right? To use that instinct, to find that voice within, and to then make the right judgment calls to choose the actions that align with your nature. that make you feel that you're doing the right thing that you should be doing as an individual within the community. So that's like how I look at it, and that's how I want to share it to other people as well. And it's not necessarily to turn people into Stoics, but at least to open people up to say, hey, I don't always have to act out of my emotion. I can take a pause. If I feel angry or even happy, I can still take that pause, really look at what's happening, examine the situation around me. And from then I choose my action. Then later, when I have taken the necessary action in that moment, I can then evaluate my emotions. I can then ask myself, why was I feeling sad about this? Why was this triggering me to be angry? And then I can work through that. So I can help myself to prepare for the next time I meet a certain moment like that, to deal with it maybe even more peacefully or better. So it's all about improvement. Like, we don't have to be perfect, but we do want to improve on ourselves.
Yes, and from that, I'd like to know, you said you work with clients on the Stoicism ideology. You also work with them on public speaking. I want to know how in the past you've seen clients directly apply this Stoicism into their lives and ways that other people could implement Stoicism into their lives. So if you could give any examples, maybe examples of yourself in the past or other clients you've worked with.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Like, a lot of people ask me, what is stoic coaching? What does that mean? First of all, as a coach, stoicism helps me to be more objective, to really observe what's going on, to be non-judgmental, to say, okay, the actions of my client aren't under my control. I can help them, I can navigate them through questions, I can open their minds up a little bit by asking the right questions. That's what I do as a coach. But on the other side, and this is how it also helped me, I can find their struggles and their obstacles in life and give them the direction of, first of all, the economy of control is a big thing in Stoicism. So I can ask them, so what can you control? Why is this influencing you in the way it does? Defining certain concepts, right? What does success mean to you? I've worked with several clients who were very focused on the material stuff, right? Chasing that clout or fame or those objects that they wanted to have. And just by offering them those questions, like, what does this really mean to you? Why is this something that you feel that you need? And working towards their inner values and core principles can help them be more grounded and focus on what their real priority in life is. Even when some people are stuck, they feel like, I don't really know what the meaning is of my life, or I don't really know what my direction is. Take a step back and say, the best thing you can do right now is to try to be the best person you can be in all the actions that you do. And that kind of gives people already this grand moment where they say, okay, I'm not sure where I'm heading, but at least in this moment right now, I can show gratitude for it. I can be as mindful and aware of who I am, and then make the best decision according to what I think I should be doing. So, in that sense, it does help people, and it has helped me as well, right? With some of the tools that they offer. We can talk about that a little bit, like the economy of control and Amor Fati and Memento Mori, remember you will die, and accept your fate.
Yes, and I want to know, what type of clients do you generally work with? So their demographics, how old they tend to be, their gender. Do you get a variation of different types of clients from different backgrounds, or does it seem to be a certain type of person?
It's funny, like with the coaching, it's mainly men, let's say the late 20s, like early 30s, until even like in the 50s, going through some changes in their lives, maybe being stuck in a job, also struggling with where to take the career or with family. So that's the demographic we have with coaching. With the spaces that we host on X every week, this is me, Brendan, and Bryce, the two guys that I co-founded Via Stoica with. We've been doing this for 2 years, and the interesting thing there is that we've seen a lot of women join the conversation and share their stoic views to life. So that has been very interesting to me to see that dynamic. And it's found it over the last few years to see that men find it more difficult to ask for help. So maybe that's why it's maybe an easier step to anonymously ask for stoic coaching, right? While in these spaces, a lot of women show their vulnerability and they say, oh, I was a stoic, but I didn't even know it, because a lot of people think that this is a philosophy just for men. But the crazy thing and the interesting thing is that in these conversations that we have, we see all these people share it. And when we get a lot of really nice comments in our DM saying, oh, you've really helped me get over these difficult times in my life. And it was great to see this different perspective of life. And that has been a lot of women who have shared that with us. So there is this kind of, I'm not sure exactly still why it is this divide, but we have been working with women as a coach, but mainly for that aspect, like the pure coaching clients that we get through our website. That's mainly men in that age group who are going maybe some career changes or maybe some relationship issues in those pivotal moments of their lives. So it's been really interesting to see that dynamic and to see how wide and bright it is, to see all those people who are interested in it.
Yes. Now I want to touch on the business aspect of what you do. So you said you co-founded this company 2 years ago. Can you tell me how you found your co-founders and how you agreed on creating this entire concept of public speaking, teaching public speaking to others through this stoic mentality, and then helping others improve their lives? So this self-improvement, why you started and what steps you needed to take from the day you thought of the idea to your launch to now getting the word out there. How would someone who's just working on a startup go about starting up their business?
So 2 years ago, I was working in Dubai in education, at first as a teacher, later as an assessment writer. And those were also the moments where I was starting to get into Stoicism and I wanted to write about it. So I started a blog called The Stoic Padawan without any real intention of starting a company based around it. I had my ideas, but I wasn't really focused on doing so. So I was writing my weekly blogs. I was going to these spaces online every week, not as a host, but first as a speaker, as a attendant in the audience. That later changed when the original founders of that space stepped back and they asked me if I wanted to take over, which I did. And Bryce became my co-host. I was co-hosting another space with Bryce on a Saturday, which is still going on when we go through all the writings of the Stoics. And then Brendan, we found Brendan, he was also hosting these Stoic spaces, and we joined forces first in these spaces, having great conversations. And then at one point, I was doing my blog and I was getting a little bit of traction, and people were reaching out to me and to the other guys as well. So I figured, let's just post a page on Stoic life coaching because I'd done some life coaching courses and I wanted to combine that. So it all really joined. I felt, oh, this is something that I can do. So I wrote a page on Stoic life coaching. It jumped up to Google, #1 spot. It's still there. And then I got some clients, which was really good. And I felt like I missed some of the aspects of the business acumen that I needed. And it wasn't as much fun to do it by myself. So I reached out to Bryce. We first started creating a podcast, which is Street Stoics. We are currently in the rebranding, so it will probably be Via Stoica in a few weeks. We are really galvanizing it all to one brand, which is what we're doing right now. Then I reached out to Brandon, and he lives in Panama. I actually went to visit him, and we went to Costa Rica for a few days. And that's where the three of us decided, let's join forces, right? Because Bryce is very good at making connections, having that network, for example, with a radio station for a podcast, which is really good, but also just with other people. And he has a very good way of presenting ideas and being more in the broadcasting scene. And then Brendan has a very good business mind. He has built a couple of e-commerce business. So it was very natural to flow together. So we created a website, and that's where we started to post and bring out some of these products and keep doing the spaces, the podcast, and really joining forces. And because we are all have this similar philosophy and a similar way of looking at life, it really grew organically. It's really nice. We do notice that we have to combine the friendships and business mentality. That's something where we are still growing, but because we are quite open and honest to each other, that really helps us bring it forward. And as I said, we are rebranding the community, the podcast, so it can all fall under that Via Stoic umbrella. But with all the networks that we've been making, it is really, like people say this cliche, right? Follow your passion. But that is really what has happened here. It's something that we believe in, that we can share with other people for them to live a better life. And that's what we're trying to do. So now we're trying to create the platform for ourselves to reach as many people as we can to help them. And that's pretty much like the vision of Via Stoic, of the company that we're trying to build.
I know at some point when you were starting up your business, you say you started off with a blog. And with this blog, I want to know how frequently did you post on your blog? And if someone wanted to speak about something or they wanted to promote their business, how often should they be posting on a blog? How you can use Twitter Spaces to grow your business organically. Because I'm someone who usually uses a lot of Facebook. I use Instagram, TikTok. So I was just wondering how you've used Twitter in your business and then how other businesses could use Twitter to help them grow?
Yeah, and I can combine those two questions. So first with the blog, I figured I just wanted to write every week. So that's where I started out. I started writing every week, just not really even focusing on an audience, just getting my mind out there. That was one of the reasons why I started it, because I was always afraid that I was going to forget about what was in my mind, and writing it down, I felt like was quite a nice release from all those thoughts. And by putting it in public, it also really helped me to structure it more. And another side is I started posting these blogs on Facebook, on the Stoic groups and on Facebook. I found it difficult to deal with criticism. So I figured where best to go and find some criticism to help me that side of me, to just put it online, right? So I put it on those groups, and some people, they liked it and some people they tore it down, which was difficult at the beginning, but now it's quite good. It actually helped me really to delve into the matter more, to study more and to be more on top of it. So that really helped. So I started posting once a week, and the side of it really helped me to jump into some blogging communities. They gave me some really good tips. So, for example, there are some posts where you can share your writings, your blog post, and then people will go in and comment on it, and you will do the same. That's what I've done for the first, I think, maybe 6-7 months. So I just went in and took a day and I just went and read all of these other posts. I wrote comments and they did the same. And I believe that really helped me give a little bit of more domain authority, to have comments, to have people comment on my stuff, and I do the same. So you leave some other backlinks there as well. Also, what really helped for me, and this is why I think blogging still has a lot of power, because I was always writing about Stoicism. So the Stoic content was in every post. That really gave me a strong domain authority, at least topic authority on Google. So most of the time now, after blogging for 2 years, when I write something about Stoicism, it usually ends up in the top 10, maybe even top 20. And I've got a couple of posts that's right up there in the top 2 or 3. So that really helps, especially with selling things like the Stoic coaching. I think if you're starting out with something like that, it really helps to stay on top and to keep posting regularly. After a while, I've read that it's not necessary to post every week, which I've dropped down because I'm working on other stuff as well. But because we have that topic authority, it really helps. So that's something that I would definitely suggest. I'm not an SEO expert, but just by following the instructions of Yoast SEO, which I have on my WordPress, just making sure that the little two traffic things are on green, that you do all those things, that really helps. Just following those instructions, it helped me with my writing. And also to get like the backlinks on the socials really helps, on Pinterest, on Facebook, and on X. And then with X, with the spaces, for me, the spaces changed everything. It changed not just the blog and the content, but also myself. Because so spaces, I'm not sure if people are familiar with spaces. Spaces are live conversations you can have on X. You can create a space. Anyone can create a space on any topic you want. You just open a room, you can record it or not, and then people will join you. And then people have the option to just listen, or they can request a microphone and then become speakers in the space, and they can share their thoughts. So that's what we do. For example, my space, the Via Stoica space, is every Tuesday, and I pick a topic. For example, this week we had a topic on true friendship. We had 150, 160 listeners, so people can just come in. And the great thing about it is you can find regular people, you can find people who just pass by and they share their thoughts, or they just listen and they share their thoughts on the post. But you can really make some good connections there. So I've learned, that's where I met Brendan and Bryce in those spaces, the co-founders of Via Stoica. But it's also where we met a lot of great individuals who support us. And we've been giving free month coaching to them because they've been really supportive to us over the last few years. And again, as I've mentioned before, because of those spaces, a lot of people, we've inadvertently helped people get over some obstacles and difficult times in their lives, and they've reached out. So for me, the spaces have really been a great tool for myself to develop myself as a speaker, but also to develop myself with the matter, the stoicism, the philosophy, the shared thoughts, to be more critical about what I say, and also to keep myself accountable to doing what I say. But on the other hand, to really build a network, to really create strong connections. Like I've had calls with many of those people just, offline. We're just, hey, let's have a call and see how you're doing, and check in and just, do it that way. So for me, the spaces have really elevated the value of social media, of reaching out, of sharing your ideas. And it's a really nice testing ground. I wouldn't say that it's the best place to find business, because that's something that I have noticed. It's not really the place where you go to find clients, but it is a really nice way to test your messaging, to play around a little bit and to make those connections in a way. Like, and we're trying to build more into LinkedIn, which is still unknown to me, but having that groundwork done on X, that really helps.
Yes, so now I want to know if I'm a prospective client. So I go into one of your spaces and then I say, you know what, Benny, I want to reach out to you. I want to work with you. What is your process? Do you do a one-on-one video call? And then from there on, is it more of a structured course that I go through, or is it one-on-one sessions from there on?
So yeah, that kind of depends. And we have a free consultation. So if you were to go to the website, you can book a free consultation where you have 30 minutes with either me, Bryce, or Brendan. If you have a preference, you can make that noticed. But then you can have a 30-minute coaching session one-on-one. People reach out, and we have been giving these one-on-ones away for free to the community, which has been really beneficial to us, but also to the people who've received it. At least we've gotten some really good feedback on that. But it would be one-on-one, but we also, that's something that we offer, but those topics are a little bit more fixed. So that might not be as tailor-made as the coaching might be. And we are working on workshops, which we are looking to start this summer. We have been doing also some online meetings just to get to know the community, but those were more informal. So it would start, it is pretty much, we're very tailored, right? So if you were to join, you were to reach out and say, I need some help, I want to work on this, I think the coaching would be the best way to start because that's very one-on-one and we can really help you get started. We have, for example, 4 weeks, but also 12 weeks. We've noticed that minimum of 4 weeks is something that you would want to have because in one session, there's not much we can do. But within the 12 weeks, I've seen some really big changes in the people that I've worked with. But if you were to reach out, yeah, I think coaching would be the best way, but we do have other products like email courses, workshops, all of those things to offer what people need just to help them live a better life.
And so with these one-on-one coaching sessions, do you do an assessment of what their needs are, what they need, and then create an action plan for them? Or how do you approach your entire course? How do you set up what you're going to do in each session and how they can implement this stoicism into their lives?
Yeah, so for a more like a formal way of approaching and learning about Stoicism, then the courses would be, or the workshops would be a better way to start. Although in the coaching itself, we do share the Stoic teachings, right? I think it depends. I've worked with some clients who really wanted that at the beginning, but as we progress, those like the specific theoretical part of Stoicism went to the background as we delve into more of their specific personal needs. So when I go into a coaching session, it is pretty much, like I said, I try to go there without judgments, right? And that's where Stoicism really helps. So I go in carte blanche, like just see where the client wants to go and take them through it, right? Take them through the process. And obviously, when we have some goals set at the beginning, we have some general topics, and that's where we bounce back on and forwards as we move along, and they can change, right? I believe in more being dynamic and just taking the moment as it comes and coaching from that sense. But we do have people reaching out that they say, I want to learn more of the technique, for example, the pause, what is under my control. And that's something that we do incorporate in the coaching that we offer. For example, giving ideas about how to journal, right? And or how to plan certain things or how to show gratitude. So some of these tools we do share, but with the coaching itself, it is all dependent on the moment and the things that the clients are looking for.
Okay, I'd like to thank you so much for popping on to this podcast and sharing what you have to say, sharing your company, sharing your story. If people want to connect with you, where can they connect with you best?
Yeah, they can reach out to me on X. I'm on X. I'm on Instagram. You can find us there at Via Stoica. We also have a YouTube channel under Via Stoica as well, at Via Stoica. But also under my personal account with the Stoic Padawan. That's where I started my blog. I don't know if there's Star Wars fans out there, but I like that combination of the Stoic Padawan. So you can find me there. But you can also just email me at benny@viastoica.com or reach out to info@viastoica.com. You can find us there. Or just go to the website. And if you feel like you want to have a free consultation, a 30-minute conversation with one of us, then it's an easy click of the button and you can just schedule a 30-minute meeting there. And you can find us every week, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on X live, and you can join the conversations. If you go to my profile, Again, that's the Stoic Padawan, or you can go to the Via Stoica account. You can see the schedule there, the times, and join us and share your thoughts there as well, because we're more than happy to listen to people there. And that's what we do for free. And the podcast is out there as well, Street Stoics, which will probably be Via Stoic in a little bit, but for now it's still Street Stoic, so you can check that out. But that's where you can find me. And if you have any questions, any of you listeners, please feel free to reach out, because I'm more than happy to help out and share whatever I can and what is useful to you.
Thank you so much. And please do go to Via Stoica's website, go check them out, give them some love. And if you like this podcast and you want more episodes like this, please leave a review or share with a friend or family member.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Masked Monologues. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.